Hi, I'm Lee Burkeen with another great show tonight that we're going to have a great lineup. John White, the head coach of St. Thomas Aquinas in Hammond, great school. We're going to talk to him and his star player Nicholas Gibson, who is MVP of the defense of the district this year. As a defensive back, he's an athlete, a senior that we're going to get to meet him. And Eric Held, the head coach of St. Michael's, who's the head coach in the Red Stick Bowl. We're going to talk about that and his team at St. Michael's. And we've got a state championship coach calling in from Ouachita Christian 1A, Class 1A, Stephen Fitzhugh. He'll be calling in segment 2. We'll take your calls tonight. Call and we'll talk about anything, the Saints, LSU, any of the state colleges, or any of the high school teams, and go over the dome. We'll go over some of the games too before we end the show tonight. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Louisiana Football TV Magazine.
A sports injury can put you out of action. But your game's not over because you drafted the right team. At the Bone and Joint Clinic, you're treated by experts in sports medicine, experienced therapists and staff, and the latest equipment and services in a comfortable environment where you're treated like family because we want to see you suit up again. The Bone and Joint Clinic.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. And for over 35 years, ITI has been a leader in technical education here in Baton Rouge.
ITI's medical division offers hands-on training in 3 new medical programs: medical billing and coding, medical management, and medical assistant. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
So let ITI help you discover a better life. Call now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from long drivers to unlucky drivers. Now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name. The physical therapy choice of golfers, injured drivers, and everyone in between.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore. Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
As a designer here at Bassett, I've helped all kinds of people find the custom furniture they really want. Beautiful fabrics and leathers? Got 'em. A choice of finishes? Sure. The best color combos? No problem. Whatever you're looking for, I can help you find it, and we'll have it ready in 30 days. Custom furniture from Bassett. It's a great way to make your home your own.
Please support Papa John's Pizza, a great sponsor, and they feed our staff, all our guests, every week. Papa John's, please make sure to call one of their locations. They have several in Baton Rouge and in our area, Gonzales, Ascension, Livingston Parish, the greater Baton Rouge area. Make sure that you look up Papa John's Pizza. Michelle Rabelais, they do a great job, the marketing director here in Baton Rouge. Before we go to Coach John White of St. Thomas Aquinas and also Eric Held of St. Michael's locally, I want to congratulate all the high school coaches that won state championships this past weekend. In 1A, Stephen Fitzhugh, the head coach of Ouachita Christian, will join us in segment 2. They won the 1A title over West St. John, and West St. John had a great team, and he's got a young team. Coach Valdez has a lot of those kids coming back, and Ouachita Christian has a lot of those kids coming back. So could be a rematch next year in 1A. And 2A, John Curtis beat a good Winfield, and our coaches know about Winfield. I know John White does. He played Winfield. They're going to be young next year again, and John Curtis is going to be young again next year. Another potential, I don't want to say a rematch because that means John's team won't make it next year, right? Or, some of these other teams that are watching tonight. So it could very well happen. And in 3A, guys, unbelievable, right?
Great game.
Great game for
St.
a
Charles Catholic, Frank Monica, they don't have a 250-pound line. They don't have the great big D1 blue chip skill guys. They beat Patterson. They beat Parkview Baptist. And then they go beat a great, big, fast team in the Dome. What do you think of that?
Well,
I mean,
Coach Monica is going to have his boys in position. And you see that, saw it in the Dome. I mean, they were never opposition. They're making the routine plays. They play with a lot of heart and desire. You know, well-coached team.
4A Neville beat a talented Edna Carr. Edna Carr looks like an NFL football team. You might see 5 of their players at LSU just from their junior class. Their senior group, Derek Edenborough, 6'8", 320. He's the best left tackle in the South that I've seen committed to LSU for the class of 2012. And then in 5A, the West Monroe Rebels lost in 2010, but they came back in 2011 and beat a good team. You know, I mean, a hot team in 5A. Eric, what did you think of the 5A game?
I thought it was a great game. It was
Karen Crow.
Great, exactly. Brent Indes has done a great job at Karen Crow. Of course, every stop where Brent's been, Abbeville, Crowley, Kaplan, and now Karen Crow has just done fantastic jobs. And, you know, hats off to him getting the Bears back to the Dome, getting their tradition back. And they're no slouch. They'll be back. He's going to have them playing well in that Lafayette, Lake Charles district that they're in. But both teams, it was a defensive game. And, you know, they turned the ball over a few times. But they were definitely not intimidated by West Monroe. And West Monroe did a great job stopping their wing tee offense that churned out so many yards on the ground in the playoffs.
I don't think West Monroe wants to play somebody from Lafayette again. Acadiana cost them a state championship, right? Karen Crow this year. It seems like every year in 5A, it is a Lafayette team. And, you know, West Monroe, they're used to just breezing through the playoffs. And this year was not a breeze. Barely beat Barb in the playoffs, who's got a good program in Lake Charles, with their new coach this year, who's been there forever, been there for 30 years. Mike has been there for a long time.
Also, Mandeville gave him a real good game.
Big time. Lost, what, by 8?
Right. Mandeville went up there for the semis. You know, Mandeville, I think, finished second in the district, or third.
Finished second behind St.
Their
Paul.
quarterback, Matt Bajeron, I thought had a great year. Their 5'11" quarterback, and then they had a big O-line. If you remember Jim Dombrowski with the Saints from Virginia, his son was one of those 6'6" tackles. And get this, two kids, brothers, the Zemke brothers, they were both 6'6" wide receivers for Mandeville, 220 each. I mean, those are some weapons on offense. Eric, I mean, if you had 2 6'6" wide receivers,
that'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
Snap the ball to your quarterback.
Right. Not
lob
tight
it up.
ends, wide receivers.
Wide receivers. Put them on the outside and find the short corner. Lob it up to them.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Red Stick Bowl with Eric. We're going to talk about his team, St. Michael's. We're also going to talk with John about St. Thomas Aquinas and introduce Nicholas Gibson, who will be joining us later in the show. And the next guest will talk with us when we come out of the break. Stephen Fitzhugh for Ouachita Christian will be calling in out of the break. We'll also join Stephen Fitzhugh from the powerhouse Ouachita Christian, and it's in Monroe, Louisiana, if you don't know where that's at. We'll be back in just a moment.
Can buying furniture really be fun? Sure. Come into Bassett, and an in-store designer like me will be happy to help. Just tell me a little about yourself and what you're looking for, and then I'll give you a bunch of great ideas. And our design help is free. Who could say no to that? Come into Bassett and discover the easy, affordable way to make a beautiful home.
State Farm agents Bill Barkus and Steve Ward are there for you. Call today.
Louisiana Office Supply is the largest stocking office product store in the South with a new 23,000 square foot showroom. For over 72 years, Louisiana Office Supply has met the demand for quality office products competitively priced with an extensive selection and knowledgeable staff. From office furniture to Post-it notes, there are supplies for every part of your office. Louisiana Office Supply, generation after generation, exceptional service since 1936.
Arrive to the game in style in a new or certified Peretti family vehicle.
Jaguar, with timeless elegance, is the sportiest, sexiest luxury automobile on the road. Land Rover is rough enough for all your hunting needs, yet refined enough to deserve valet parking. Mazda will connect you with your inner driver at a whole new level of intensity.
Remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you get to the game. Peretti, Jaguar, Land Rover, Mazda, Baton Rouge, New Orleans.
Park Lane Boutique. You should feel comfortable, confident, and beautiful here or wherever your travels may take you. At Park Lane Boutique, we believe it's all about genuine customer service while working with classic, timeless modern fashion.
A sports injury can put you out of action. But your game's not over because you drafted the right team. At the Bone and Joint Clinic, you're treated by experts in sports medicine, experienced therapists and staff, and the latest equipment and services in a comfortable environment where you're treated like family because we want to see you suit up again. The Bone and Joint Clinic.
We're back. Check out the website. Barnes & Noble in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Mandeville, Shreveport, and all the stores you can get it at. Co-op Bookstore in Baton Rouge. Even in West Monroe, we have Crafts Galore, which is a Rebel store that everything West Monroe. I mean, they sell merchandise. Believe it or not, it's a store that just sells West Monroe products. I don't know of another high school football team that has its own store off campus year-round. Do you know? Do you, John or Eric?
No, I don't believe I have.
They also have a store in the school, like an LSU gift shop in the school that you can buy the new 32 different hats that West Monroe puts out and shirts. Amazing, unbelievable. We've got head coach Stephen Fitzhugh on, the state champion 1A classification, Ouachita Christian. Stephen, I'm glad to have you on tonight.
Hey, thank you, Lee.
Congratulations on your big win. I know you've worked hard. In 2010, I know that you came up a little short, and then 2011, you know, you win it all. I mean, a year later. I mean, what did that mean to you to not have, you know, you didn't lose twice in a row? I mean, a lot of pressure there. Sort of like the Alabama rematch with LSU, right?
Well, I tell you, it was just really special. It was a special group of young men. Last year was hard. It was because I tell you, it was a special group of young men last year as well. And, they really gelled last year and came on strong, especially when the playoffs hit. And, to go to Haynesville in the playoffs and win, and then at South Plaquemines to win down there. That group made a lot of strides. And then for the wheels to come off like they did in the Superdome, to have a chance to win it. And, in spite of 10 turnovers, it was hard. And, again, White Castle had an outstanding football team and created a lot of those turnovers. But, we knew we did not play our best game, and it hurt. I mean, you put everything in it and come up short, and it hurts. And so these guys, they decided last year. We had a great group of seniors in 2010, but we also had a great group of juniors and sophomores, and when that game was over, those kids that were juniors and sophomores said, you know what, we're going to win it next year. And as far as pressure, there wasn't any pressure. I mean, it was an expectation, an adventure, and excitement that these kids, that was their goal. There was a hunger all year long that our goal is to win the state championship, and they stayed focused 1 week at a time. on the opponent at hand, and our goal was to get better each and every day from August through December, and I felt like our guys did that.
Coach, I want to mention this. A month ago, I predicted 3 of the winners to be from Monroe. I predicted Neville, West Monroe, and then your team, Ouachita Christian. I took a lot of abuse here in Baton Rouge, picking 3 Monroe teams because we had all those good Lafayette teams in Baton Rouge and New Orleans teams. But I had a chance, and you know this, I go up to Monroe quite a bit to go to the schools, and you know, football in Monroe, West Monroe is so competitive, as you know. There's not a weak team in that area, and I think that really pays off, don't you think? When you make the playoffs, when you get to this big game, you don't play a weak team.
No, you don't, and you know, each team, you know, they compete in district. It's going to get them ready for the best they'll see in the state. You mentioned those 3 teams. I tell you who's sitting on the outside that you could put in there as well as Ouachita.
Right.
Ouachita went 9-3. All 3 teams they lost to, 2 of them were state champs. The other one's the 5A runner-up, and they had a chance to win all 3 of those games. And so, you know, it does. Competition makes each other better, and you know, certainly we're not in the same league with those teams, but we do compete against them where we can, such as 7-on-7 in the summer and stuff like that. And again, that's something that helps us is going against those powerhouses such as them. But you know, that was really special for Ouachita Parish to win 3 games like that.
Coach, what I would also like is that you've got your 2 quarterbacks coming back next year, and Quinn Graves, Sol Graves' son, who played at LSU, and then Braden Bristow, your athletic. He's also your safety when he's not in at quarterback, and you've got Akeem Henderson back at running back and receiver. I know you lose Mark Laird and you lose some big O linemen, but I noticed you got a good core coming back to make another run next year.
Well, certainly that's our goal every year, whether we have, you know, a big graduating senior class or, you know, just a few of them. I mean, you know, if they're going to play for a state championship, our goal is to be one of those teams that have a chance to win it. And, you know, if I'm playing checkers with my 7-year-old daughter, I'm playing to win. And,
right.
I mean, that's just, you know, that's how I'm wired, and that's what our kids, we're going to play to win. And, again, certainly when we had some linemen this year that Zach Tarver, Josh Wilkes, Caleb Mosier, Bo Harper, that, you know, those 4 guys up front on the offensive line certainly improved our chances. There's no doubt about that. We're going to lose some of that beef. But, you know, we're going to have guys that know how to work hard. And again, that's going to be our expectations is we're going to play to win each week, try to be the best that we can be. And, you know, that's the thing that we can control. Be the best we can be as strong as we can be, you know, and play hard and play sound. And the scoreboard will take care of itself.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. Didn't have a chance to ask you this off the air when we talked, but when you won your last state championship, you had Eric Edwards that played for LSU and the Arizona Cardinals. You know, you had Riddy Niswanger, who went to the Kansas City Chiefs, played at LSU, won a national championship with Eric, and also Brandon Hurley, your big fullback who signed with LSU, all from that one team. How do you compare that team, Coach, with this year's state championship team?
Well, you know, I've had other people say, you know, is this the best team ever? Well, it's the only 15-0 team ever, but you know what? You can't compare teams. The outside, the former players, they like to do that. But,
yeah.
You know, the thing that I say as a coach, you know, one similarity I will say between those 2 teams, we were very strong on our offensive line. Both years I feel like we had a dominating offensive line. I would put, you know, this year's offensive line up there with that one in the sense that was just a very good size and very smart line, that they were one unit that knew what each other was going to do, and they communicated well. And so that's one thing in comparing teams. I would put the offensive line up there together with them. One thing about this team, you know, and that team as well, comparing, both of them had great defenses. Now, I think this defense had more speed, whereas the other one had more size. That other one, you know, my least favorite defense run is a 5-2, And in 2000, we ran a 5-2 because we only had 1.5 linebackers. I mean, we had one that was a player,
yeah,
and then we had one that played half a year, and he didn't get the job done. We brought in a JV player to do the other half.
Yeah.
And they got the job done. But, you know, this year we ran the 3-5-3, which you don't have necessarily a lot of size running that defense, but you have speed. And so, you know, that was the difference in the defense. But again, both units, they had a great offensive line, and they had a great defense. And then the other thing is both teams had a lot of character and guys that they played hard for each other. They loved each other. They enjoyed being around each other, hanging out, and again, just total self-sacrifice attitudes that they'll do whatever they need for the team.
Coach, we're going to take a break, but can you come back with us for another segment?
You bet.
Hang on. I've got two high school coaches with me that know of you, and you know of them. Eric Held at St. Michael's, and also John White at St. Thomas Aquinas. They have some questions for you when we come back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Louisiana Football TV Magazine.
Great job, guys. Great job.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore. Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
State Farm agents Bill Barkas and Steve Ward are there for you. Call today.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. And for over 35 years, ITI has been a leader in technical education here in Baton Rouge. Our commitment is to help people just like you attain a better life through technical training.
Get hands-on real-life training in one of 9 career areas with flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
So let ITI help you discover a better life. Call now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life. Have you made the right call?
I made the right call.
It's easy to do. Just touch the tones.
I made the right call.
If you want to talk to the pros, you've got to make the right call.
I made the right call.
It's not that kind of call. I'm talking about the professionals at Gage Telephone. From excellent products like Toshiba to great service after the sale, make the right call. Gage Telephone, 753-4243.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from grand slam hitters to grandparents. Now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, the physical therapy choice of baseball players, grandparents, and everyone in between.
College notes. I want to talk. There's many things to talk about in a 1-hour show. There's about 1,000 topics, but I'm going to do this one topic tonight. It's the year of the linebacker for recruiting in the year 2012. Why? 14 players this year will sign D1 scholarships at linebacker. I don't ever remember a year since I've been following prep football since 1991 in Louisiana where you had more than 5 Division I linebackers sign in Louisiana. You always have a couple, 2 or 3, maybe 4, but 14? Are you kidding me? Ronnie Feast is going to LSU. Trey Grenier from Thibodeau, Ronnie's from West St. John. They're committed to LSU. Otha Peters is committed to Tennessee. From Covington, I can name you tons of linebackers that are committed right now. It would take another hour and another show, but trust me, there's going to be 14 when it's said and done, go D1. Not 1AA, but D1. And top 25 programs, it's pretty good stuff. In one class, and linebackers, you don't have. These two coaches will tell you, you don't have a lot of 6'1", 215-pound linebackers walking around in the halls right now in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette. that run 4.5, 4.6 every year on your team.
No. A kid like that would be a tight end, offensive line.
Right.
6'1", 220 in all hallway.
We're going to go back to Coach Stephen Fitzhugh. He has a young linebacker that's got a couple of years left. He's in that size category. But, Coach, we've got Eric Held here from St. Michael's, the head coach, and also John White. By the way, a little history. John was on that Riverside team that you played a few years ago.
Okay.
He was
yeah.
a coach on that team. But
All
any
right.
questions, Eric, for Coach?
Coach Fitzhugh, first of all, congratulations. Great job. I know watching you guys last year, I know it was tough for me just being a coach to see you guys turn it over. You mentioned that as many times as you did, but then the redemption your program had this year with winning, and congratulations on that. It's a great job you and your staff do. And I wanted to ask you a question about the job you do with developing your quarterbacks. You seem to grow them up there for a 1A program. And I read an article a while back that you were part of an interview about your development all the way into the elementary program, and I think the viewers out there would like to hear a little bit about that.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you. And, one thing that, we are blessed to have. Ouachita Christian is a school that is K through 12, actually pre-K. And, in Monroe, they have YMCA football that starts at age 5. And so the 5 and 6-year-olds are together in the league, and then 7 and 8-year-olds as well. They play flag, and then once they hit 9 years old, they can play tackle. But one thing, we are able to do, just like the other schools in the area, granted it's the feeder schools to the junior high and stuff like that with the other schools, but those kids get excited about football at age 5, and we run a summer football camp that we have available for kids all the way down to 5 years old, all the way up through middle school. That just learning the techniques of football and enjoying the game. But once they hit the 9-year-old league for us, especially, they're going to run the same offense that we do. And even in flag, we keep it simple. That's one thing that's important. But they learn how to run the speed sweep and a couple of the passes off of that, and just again your base offense. But again, at 9 years old, they'll learn a couple of the base plays, and then 11 and 12 they'll add a couple of more plays, and so that once they get in the junior high system, they know the majority. And really, we only have about 4 blocking schemes. Really, people look and think that we run a confusing offense. We'll run multiple formations, but we try to keep things simple, and we just run things out of a lot of different looks. But scheme-wise, it comes down, you're going to base block, reach block, or down block. I mean, that's the only way you can, and then certainly pass blocking. But that's just some of the things we do is try to get kids used to the same terminology as they grow up.
Coach John White has a question from the head coach from St. Thomas, Aquinas, and Hammond, Louisiana.
Hey, Coach, how you doing tonight?
Hey, good, John. Thank you.
Well, congratulations on your season. I was there Friday to watch your game, and I got flashbacks from 2000. Seen them big offensive linemen you have. And,
well, I tell you what, I had flashbacks of 2000 also, because I tell you, we talked about some of our other coaches were there during that time, and we made the comments that that Riverside D-line back in 2000 was one of the best that we had seen, and this West St. John defensive line was one of the best that we had seen. And again, there's just some themes that you remember, and that's where you look at things first on film is what does the D-line look like, and so I was glad we had some good size up there to kind of match up.
Well, Coach, I got one question. I mean, everybody talks about the weight room, how important it is. Do you have any secrets or tricks that you do in the weight room to get those guys so strong?
We just work hard. I mean, one thing that we really do not emphasize is the bench press. That's what kids like to brag about the most is how much do you bench press, how much do you, one thing, our strength and conditioning coach, Daniel Bristow, He is our head track coach as well, and he does a phenomenal job in track. He's the defense coordinator, but he's a guy that gives attention to details, and in the weight room, he's a stickler. We're going to do a lot of explosive lifts. We're going to do a lot of plyometrics, and he uses the phrase from nipples to knees, and is developing that core in there and developing that strength. We'll do a lot of just your planks and different abdominal exercises, strengthening that core, and then we work on speed. We're going to do different speed training drills, but the biggest thing is he changes things up to where you're not doing the same routine. I mean, it is a science. It truly is, and he studies it. He goes every year and stays certified with the latest things, and and then he's a stickler in the weight room that every rep is going to count, and that's where you win, is in the weight room, and that's one thing. You pay a price, and the kids don't always like the grind that they go through. I mean, we push tires in the summer and pull tires and sleds and things like that develops that mindset of toughness, and it really pays off. You get in a situation like that, the goal line stand that we had the other day. That wasn't the first time the kids have been in a tough bind. I mean, we put them in tough bind and stresses throughout the year, again, in the weight room, to try to create those situations so that they know, hey, we can do this. And so, again, that credit goes to Coach Bristow for the job that he does in the weight room, because, again, he does a phenomenal job.
Coach, we have about 30 seconds left. I want you to be able to plug your yearly trip to Australia. Are you?
Hey, well,
I might be going this year, Coach.
I plan on going to Australia again this summer. It's called the Down Under Bowl. You can go to downundersports.com and sign up for an online meeting. And if any coaches have players they'd like to nominate, call me, at area code 318-450-7855. But, Louisiana has been well represented. We're going to go in July this year. And, again, I would love to take a team down there and bring back the championship to Louisiana. We came up short in double overtime last time of the final game. But, again, it's an experience of a lifetime. And I hope you can make it this year, Lee. But, again, I plan on taking the team there, and I'd love to take a lot of great players from Louisiana, because there's a bunch of them here.
I plan on going this year. I didn't go to the last 3 years, Coach. But, look, thank you for being on tonight again. Congratulations on your state championship win, and good luck to you soon. I'll see you soon up in Monroe.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Lee. Now have a great Christmas.
Thanks, Coach. You too. We'll be back. We're going to have more about St. Michael's and St. Thomas Aquinas when we come back. You're watching Louisiana Football TV Magazine.
Louisiana Office Supply is the largest stocking office product store in the South, with a new 23,000 square foot showroom. For over 72 years, Louisiana Office Supply has met the demand for quality office products, competitively priced with an extensive selection and knowledgeable staff. From office furniture to Post-it notes, there are supplies for every part of your office. Louisiana Office Supply, generation after generation, exceptional service since 1936.
Have you made the right call?
I made the right call.
It's easy to do. Just touch the tones.
I made the right call.
If you want to talk to the pros, you've got to make the right call.
I made the right call.
It's not that kind of call. I'm talking about the professionals at Gage Telephone. From excellent products like Toshiba to great service after the sale, make the right call. Gage Telephone, 753-4243.
State Farm agents Bill Barkas and Steve Ward are there for you. Call today.
As a designer here at Bassett, I've helped all kinds of people find the custom furniture they really want. Beautiful fabrics and leathers? Got 'em. A choice of finishes? Sure. The best color combos? No problem. Whatever you're looking for, I can help you find it, and we'll have it ready in 30 days. Custom furniture from Bassett. It's a great way to make your home your own.
A sports injury can put you out of action. But your game's not over because you drafted the right team. At the Bone and Joint Clinic, you're treated by experts in sports medicine, experienced therapists and staff, and the latest equipment and services in a comfortable environment where you're treated like family. Because we want to see you suit up again. The Bone and Joint Clinic.
Check out LAFootballMagazine.com. That's the store on the bottom.com store if you want to order the preview. We're already working on the 2012 preview. You know, the names will change and the height and weights will change, but you go ahead and type them in so you can do that. So you don't type in 10,000 names in the last 3 weeks when you put the magazine out in August. So that changes by the day because kids are a hamburger away from gaining 5 pounds. These coaches know that. Week to week, right, guys?
Absolutely.
You're right. I mean, I can call you in June and you can say, well, my linebacker, Lee, is 6'2", about 210, and then I call you back in August, well, he's 230. And if it goes to print at 230, the parent calls me and says, 239, and I go, well, you know, I had it right when we went to the printer, you know. It changes all the time.
You're right.
And some of those guys, you want them to lose weight, not gain weight, right?
Correct. You want to gain good weight. Good weight.
Now, John, I've known you a long time, back since '92.
Correct.
When you were at Riverside in Laplace, coaching for Mickey Roussel. Had some great teams, like you mentioned earlier, in the Dome.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, great program. You've been in Hammond a few years now as a head coach at St. Thomas Aquinas. Tell everybody what the change was like for you going from Laplace, your neighborhood area, New Orleans, outskirt town, to Hammond in Tangipahoa Parish.
Well, it's a big adjustment. You know, you grew up in the river parishes. You got your family there, you got your nephews, your nieces, everybody. And go back to your high school, you graduate, so you're around your teachers that taught you. It's a safe area to begin coaching and teaching. I felt real comfortable there. And then I worked under a great coach, Mickey Roussel, where you learn a lot, you know. First 2 years, you need to learn to be a sponge and absorb. That's what I did around coaches, you know, and Coach Ed Acock, you know, Coach Roussel, Eric Willis. I was around a bunch of good coaches.
I thought you were in it 20 years when I met you in '92. You were so pumped. I mean, and I mean this as a compliment. You were like one of these, like a sponge bobblehead back then. You were just like, I thought you were the head coach before I met Mickey in '92.
No.
You know, but you enjoyed it that much.
That's right. You better enjoy it. You better enjoy it because you're there all the time. But I tell all the young coaches that we hire, be a sponge. You know, absorb as much as you can around these coaches. Not just X's and O's, but how they act, how they interact, how they dress. You know, come to work shaved.
Training, weightlifting, you know, all season.
Find the vacuum cleaner and vacuum. You know, know where the
cut the field.
Cut the field. The wash machine, the dryers. You got to know all those things. You know.
Now, Eric, I've known you a long time too, and since you were a New Orleans high school coach, you went to Brother Martin. You were a kicker. You went to Nicholls State and kicked. You coached a lot in New Orleans, and now you've been in Baton Rouge for a few years now.
Right.
St. Michael's, you had another good year. Your quarterback got hurt late in the season, Dash Duncan, who had a great almost 2 years for you. And then Fields had a great couple of games after that for you at quarterback, Brandon Fields, who's coming back. But what do you think of this past year and the future? I know you got a few kids coming back in the program.
Right. Like you said, Dash was injured in week 8, broken collarbone. It was unfortunate because he was having a good season. And, you know, it's one of those things, it's football.
It happens.
And, you hate to see it, especially to a senior quarterback who's being recruited like Dash was, and for his season end. But he handled it well as a mature young man, worked real hard, improved a lot in a lot of different areas as well. So He's being recruited, and that process will pick up after the new year, hopefully for him.
Plus, he'll be clean slate in about 3 or 4 weeks over his injury, and he has over a 30 ACT, 6'4", over 200 pounds. This is a sleeper quarterback. If he does go 1AA, somebody's going to get a gem in 1AA. If that's where he goes, he could end up going to a small D1 school possibly in the end. But John, you have one of your star players that we're going to meet later in the show, Nicholas Gibson, who started his career at South Plaquemines High School and ends up being a one-year guy for you, district MVP.
Yeah. He came walking in our weight room late July, and I looked at him and said, this guy looks like a football player. After talking with him, see him on the practice field, he was a heck of a football player for us. Not only a football player, but a leader, and that's something every coach looks for. Guys in the locker room, leading a team in a positive way on and off the field, and that was Nicholas for us.
Like Dash Duncan, he's qualified to go in the test core and the GPA.
Right. Yes, 3.8 GPA, just made academic all-state team. He's an athlete. Bad coaching by my part. I had him at free safety early in the year. After week 3, I said, let's put you in the linebacker. Kid was everywhere, making plays everywhere.
And I watched Nicholas Gibson for 2 years. He wore number 20 at South Plaquemines. Actually, 3 years. Nicholas was a starter as a 9th grader. I probably didn't think I knew that, but he played. They play it in the 9th grade and the 8th grade at South Plaquemines. You wouldn't know they're 8th graders. They've got so many great players. Eddie Lacy, Landon Collins is from there, Randall Mackey with Ole Miss, Trent Mackey, who's going to be in the pros from Tulane. I can go on and on. And then, they're going to continue to have good players. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to take a break. We'll take your calls. We have 2 more segments with the coaches, and we're going to have the recruit come on late in the show. You'll get a chance to meet him. You're watching Louisiana Football TV Magazine.
Opportunity here to tell you why you need to check out ITI Technical College. You can get your technical drafting degree in less than 2 years. You get specialized technical training, work in areas like architecture, manufacturing, construction, or engineering. Get hands-on training, skills for a competitive edge, flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. Listen to Opportunity. Call ITI now or go online. It's that simple. We're your key to a better life.
At ITI, Opportunity doesn't just knock, it rocks.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from Grand Slam hitters to grandparents. Now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, the physical therapy choice of baseball players, grandparents, and everyone in between.
Arrive to the game in style in a new or certified Peretti family vehicle.
Jaguar, with timeless elegance, is the sportiest, sexiest luxury automobile on the road. Land Rover is rough enough for all your hunting needs, yet refined enough to deserve valet parking. Mazda will connect you with your inner driver at a whole new level of intensity.
Remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you get to the game. Peretti, Jaguar, Land Rover, Mazda, Baton Rouge, New Orleans.
Louisiana Office Supply is the largest stocking office product store in the South with a new 23,000 square foot showroom. For over 72 years, Louisiana Office Supply has met the demand for quality office products competitively priced with an extensive selection and knowledgeable staff. From office furniture to Post-it notes, there are supplies for every part of your office. Louisiana Office Supply, generation after generation, exceptional service since 1936.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore. Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
Hi, I'm Lee Burkeen. We'll take your calls. We've got 2 segments left. The coaches are going to be on the final 2 segments. We're going to have Nicholas Gibson come out the next segment. Strong safety, free safety. He's an athlete that'll hit you fast. 6'1", 190. Let me get that straight, not 185 like I had him about 3 months ago, 190. and he's qualified, a good-looking kid that can go to the right D1 school. And if he does go 1AA, he would be a steal, which half the players in the NFL are where? They're from 1AA the new name, Subdivision 1, right? They're from Subdivision 1, 1AA programs, half the players in the NFL. You can go online, pull it up. They're D2, D3, 1AA. Not everybody comes from a D1 school that goes pro. If you're good enough, they'll find you for the pros. But John, talk about St. Thomas Aquinas, talk about your season. You played Winfield.
Played Winfield.
Who was in the Dome, obviously. They were runner-up this year to Curtis. But how did you compare Winfield, Alonzo Moore, and Trey Gilbert, very underrated players, as you agree, to the other teams you played this year?
Well,
is there anybody that compares?
No, they were incredible. At any time, at any point in the game, they could go the distance. You know, they illustrated that against us. You know, we gave up 41 points. One of the touchdowns was a 2-yard touchdown right at the end of the game. But the other touchdowns were 40-yard plus. You know, 3rd and 15, we're getting ready for punt return. There goes the kid 65 yards. There goes the kid 70 yards. Incredible game breakers. They could change a game at any time.
And Alonzo Moore goes wildcat, receiver, safety.
Right.
Gilbert's a great running back. Big line.
Illustration of Alonzo. We got Steven Ronkowski, 6'5", wide receiver, real good athlete. Signed with ULL in basketball. First series, you throw a fade route to him, catches it, get inside the 20. They put Alonzo on him. Shut down.
Done.
Checkmate. You know. Done. Done. You know. They had some talent. Just not those seasons, but they're a well-talented football team.
And you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but I do because I've been to some of the St. Thomas games. You play your games at Southeastern Strawberry Stadium, right?
Correct.
Nice place to play.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Great environment.
You don't have to cut the grass.
Don't have to cut the grass off the line of the field. Don't have to worry about ants. Very fortunate. Just got to make sure the bus is fueled up to get there. But, you know, it's a great place to play.
5 miles away.
5 miles away. Got to time the red lights perfect for pregame, you know. But we love it. It's a good atmosphere.
We're going to go to we're going to take a break, and we're going to go to segment 6. We're going to have Nicholas Gibson join us, a blue chip DB from John White School, St. Thomas Aquinas, class of 2012. Eric Held will be here too for segment 6. If you want to give us a call, we'll sneak in the Red Stick Bowl and promote that for Barrett Murphy and those guys, and also Roger Harmon with U.S. Army. They do a great job promoting the Red Stick Bowl in Baton Rouge. We'll see you in just a moment.
State Farm agents Bill Barkas and Steve Ward are there for you. Call today.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore. Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
Park Lane Boutique. You should feel comfortable, confident, and beautiful here or wherever your travels may take you. At Park Lane Boutique, we believe it's all about genuine customer service while working with classic, timeless modern fashion.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. And for over 35 years, ITI has been a leader in technical education here in Baton Rouge.
ITI's medical division offers hands-on training in 3 new medical programs: medical billing and coding, medical management, and medical assistant. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
So let ITI help you discover a better life. Call now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from three-point shooters to three-piece suits, now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, the physical therapy choice of basketball players, businessmen, and everyone in between.
Check out LAFootballMagazine.com. Again, if you didn't get the 012 issue yet, you can go to our online store at the bottom and order it online, or you go to Barnes & Noble in those cities, or Co-op Bookstore locally at LSU on campus. Be sure to check out Billy Prescott and Co-op Bookstore. They do a great job. Have a lot of LSU stuff there. Anything you want with LSU is at Co-op Bookstore. But we've got Coach John White has joined us again, and also Eric Held from St. Michael's. But we also have Nicholas Gibson, the senior. Great player for St. Thomas Aquinas. Glad you could be on the show, Nicholas.
Me too.
Remember seeing you at South Plaquemines for 3 years?
Yes, sir.
I remember you as a freshman playing.
Yes, sir. Number 20.
Starting, right?
I started a few games. We had our linebacker, he was hurt, so I was just filling in.
I've got a question for you. I think you would enjoy answering this one. Out of all the players that come out of South Plaquemines, Eddie Lacy technically didn't finish there, right? He went to Helen Cox and he went to Dutchtown.
Yes, sir.
But let's put him in that category. He's from South Plaquemines.
All right.
Randall Mackey, Trent Mackey, him, our guy that signed with Alabama last year.
Bradley
Silv, who's going to be a great player.
Yeah.
Yourself, Lyle Feet, and the linebacker that went to Tech a year ago that signed.
Both feet.
Both feet. All All-State players. A couple of them two-time All-State. Who is the greatest player in that group to you?
It's hard to compare. You got so many different talents.
Landon Collins, we'll throw him in there.
I don't know.
At Dutchtown, but
That's
from
hard.
South Plaquemines.
That's hard. I have to go with, I'll say Silver Bradley. It's just speed. Speed kills.
And he's red-shirted at Alabama. He's the next Marquise Mays. So all of you LSU fans are excited that Mays is graduating. Bradley Silv is going to replace Mays as a slot back punt kick returner, and he is better than Mays. He's bigger. To me, he was the best athlete in the state last year that signed as an athlete. When you run 4.4 and you're 5'11", 180, and you're tough as a linebacker, and you saw that just with your guy here, Nicholas, this year.
Correct. You know, speed, toughness. That's what you look for in linebackers, and we had a good one this past year with Nicholas.
Nicholas, you said you don't have a favorite, right?
No, sir.
You're wide open. You didn't grow up loving one school over another school.
No, sir. My dad is a big Nebraska fan, but I don't think I'm.
Do you like cold weather?
No, sir.
Then you're not going to want to play at Nebraska because it's cold on visits and at this time of year too, in January, December. And I remember when they would sign everybody, Mike Rozier, Turner Gill. Never forget the '82 Orange Bowl game with LSU where they had 22 pro prospects out of their 22. That's the year Hilliard and Gary James played for LSU and Alan Risher. Guess who their backup fullback was? Tom Rathman, who might be in the Hall of Fame one day. He was a backup to Mike Rozier, and they had another running back, Roger Craig, who was in that backfield.
You said the Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl when they played.
Orange Bowl.
21-20.
Amazing. He remembers. John remembers that.
This thing, yeah.
But can you imagine Tom Rathman, Mike Rozier, and Roger Craig as your running backs, and Turner Gill, and Irving Fryer, your receiver, and Dave Remington, who they named the award after, as your center? Wow.
I think
Steinkuhler was there, and they had Mark Bing, who went to the Steelers first round. 9 first-round picks, and LSU lost by 1 point. It sounds to me like the Alabama-LSU game. We're going to be look back and go Upshaw and Hightower and Richardson and Tyrann Mathieu and all these guys that are going to go high in the draft. Benny Logan, Brockers, Claiborne. Don't forget Brandon Taylor. To me, he didn't get the pub, but he's going to be in the pros. Kenny Hilliard, who will be in the pros. Spencer Ware. Turn our attention, Eric, to the Red Stick Bowl. We have you on tonight, and I know they would appreciate it, all the players involved and the people putting it on at U.S. Army, Roger Harmon, but tell everybody about the game and when the game's going to be played, what time and where.
Yeah, the U.S. Army Red Stick Bowl features teams from the players from the greater Baton Rouge area. There's 23 teams on each side, the Black Knights. and the Rough Riders. And Neil Weiner is the coach of the Rough Riders, and I'm the head coach of the Black Knights. And the game will be at Zachary High School on the turf, 2:30 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. And everyone involved, the Army, Coach Barrett Murphy, Coach Fred Allen, Coach Dennis Lorio, Gary Burnett, they do a fantastic job. And so far, 3 days in, it's been such a great experience for not only the players but the coaches as well. Just the fun time that we have and the relationships that are built amongst the coaches and the players as well.
Well, I know there are a bunch of players you can talk about, but a kid I like a lot and you like in practice so far, I know it'll change every day, but Ryan Briggs, senior from Woodlawn, great player in practice.
Definitely. He's made some plays. He can run, and that's the thing that I've been impressed with. A couple plays where you think that one of the many offensive skilled players that we're lucky enough to have on our team, looks like he's going to break it and go, and Briggs comes out of nowhere and just closes. His closing speed is just incredible. He's an aggressive player, but there's so many good players out there, and it's an all-star game, so you get the best players off of the teams, the 23 teams on each side, and it's so tough to be involved in picking the team because there's so many good players that are left out. There's only 45 players on each roster, so it's a tough process to go through there. You get the nominations in, and then you and your staff have to whittle it down to 45 players.
John, do you have an all-star game that Hammond's connected to?
No, we used to have the North Shore, South Shore, but no, unfortunately we don't have one. But when we had one in the past, we was able to get a couple of our boys in there.
Man, they need to put one on. I mean, when I say Hammond, St. Thomas Aquinas, but Hammond High, your school, Ponchatoula, Mandeville, Covington,
Amite,
Northlake Christian, Amite, Kentwood. I mean,
Independence.
No all-star game. Come on. I mean, that's a tough.
Right.
That's a tough call.
Yeah.
Some great athletes up there: Franklinton, Bogalusa,
yeah.
Sumner,
Pearl River, all of them in that area.
It's amazing the I-12, I-55 corridor. How many good players, and Nicholas too. We played St. Thomas in week 3, and the first guy that when we turned on the film, our offensive coordinator said, "Come take a look at this guy, number 1."
I was wondering where he went because I didn't know. I didn't see at South Plaquemines this year, and then I put on the tape and I went, "That number 1 looks like number 20 from South Plaquemines," and it sure was. It was you. And don't forget St. Paul's in that area. Good team.
That's correct.
That's all of our show, but I'm going to give out our guest Superior Grill certificates, John and also Eric. T-shirts for everybody. It was a great show. I want to thank Coach Fitzhugh from calling in Ouachita Christian in Monroe. We'll see you next Tuesday. The replay is tonight at 10:30, taped on Channel 4. We've got some great guests next week. Check us out next week, Louisiana Football TV Magazine.